It's been difficult to keep working, but I'm always exhausted by the end of the day. I work about 12 hours. I definitely want to get this done, but it's going well, more than it usually goes. Before, I had a concept in my head and I had a lot of roadblocks where I had to purchase heavy tools, but even after purchasing the heavy tools, I couldn't use them because of how tired I felt, and I didn't want to do anything that would cause me more issues. So right now, there's a lot of work being done, and most of it has to do with making sure everything dries. The paint dries before I can move on to the next layer. You can see how layered these things are. But the most dangerous part of this whole thing was using strong neodymium magnets. It's like the magnets I'm using are like 125-pound pulling force. So just to take them apart was like my finger got hurt because it took a bite out of my palm. This finger right here, it took a bite out of the skin because those magnets are very powerful. But I needed to put these magnets inside each puzzle piece. That's how they stick together, and that's how they stick to the walls. So I'm fairly excited because I've been stuck on this for about 2 years, and I had this thing in my head. Sometimes when you have something in your head and it's like it's art and you need to get it done, but you get sick, you get a lot of delays, you get a lot of changes. My art changes very easily. If I get a phone call and somebody interrupts me, it changes my art. It changes my where I'm going. I try not to let it happen, but if I get distracted, annoyed, interrupted, it changes my thinking process, and it changes my creativity, and it changes things that I was working on already. So it pushes my art slightly to a new direction, but that's not always a good plan because I want my thinking to stay consistent so I can, whatever I imagined in the beginning, that's what I end up with. But there's also good times that, I can have something in mind and I make a mistake and it turns out for the better, That's in art class, they used to call those happy accidents. So it's cool, But the magnet thing was slowing me down because I didn't know whether or not I wanted to drill through the wood part of my work because there's solid wood here. There's two pieces together and there's some foam. So I'm using the foam in order to be able to drill. Not drill, but in order to be able to cut the piece. And the thing that saved me right now is Mod Podge, because since I'm using foam board. This can get damaged really easily. Moisture could come in, and it's fairly light. I couldn't afford to just make it all wood because it would take me another 2 years. So hopefully by September, I'm gonna work through August. Hopefully by September I can show this. So that's a little update on what this piece is. And if you want to know what the whole puzzle piece thing is, it's a commissioned work from a company, Global Blood Therapeutics. They have a drug out called Oxbryta. Lexator was the original name. It still is, but so they commissioned me 2 years ago, and a lot of things went wrong, delayed because I got sick, very sick, and I couldn't even hardly work on anything because I kept getting very dizzy or passing out, and it's just not safe because even with the foam board, I'm using an X-Acto knife to cut my pieces to fit the layers that I want, the size that I want, and to have that, I get a lot of cuts, so I can't be dizzy or exhausted or tired when you're using something like an X-Acto knife. You can take a really good injury from this. And I mostly have to replace the blade every 5 minutes that I'm cutting because, I need a sharp blade to make sure that I got my cuts right, because as soon as this goes dull, there's a lot of trouble from that. When it's dull, these blades, I have to replace the blades because when it's dull, I make more mistakes. When it's dull. But one of the things that's scary about this is I'm walking barefoot through my studio space, but I keep dropping fresh, new X-Acto blades. So I could cut myself easily if I'm not careful. You drop this around here, it causes problems. So as you can see, my workspace is pretty messy. That's 2 years of trying different projects and doing different projects to try to motivate me to keep working on this. If I didn't do the 2 puzzle pieces that I did during the spring, I would never get the idea of how to complete this, because completing it was very important. And when I'm drying things, I put weights on top of them so that they are flat. But under all of this mess is the rest of the puzzle piece, And I had to pay like $60, $70 for this thing to save my hands. Yeah, it's a thing that I added a lot to it just to be able to protect myself, because these magnets are no joke. It's a magnet separator. It separates these magnets for me. I just put whatever the amount is in here, and I'm able to separate it. but not always, because I have two different packages. It just falls down there and I'm safe. But these magnets, when they are shipped, I cover them with a towel or rag because they're dangerous. So these magnets, you can't even pull them apart without the thing that I'm using now. They're super, super strong. They just stuck together. 125 pounds of stickiness. But these things, you see the layers of wood and the layers of foam. The thicker it is, the by the time it's 3 inches thick, it weighs about 60 pounds on its own, the puzzle piece. So it's fairly troublesome right now. But I feel like I'm doing well. I'm making progress. The only thing that can slow me down is if I get sick. So I'm trying not to go outside, not to have anybody interact with me in a negative way or stress myself out. Because at the end of the day, if I get sick for 1 week, I'm way off track. My deadline, I want to finish this by the end of August 2021. Because in September, that's when the client has their 10th anniversary, I think. Yeah. So that's the whole finished piece will be in San Francisco. So it's a big deal for me. I'm excited about it. So hopefully that's the best update I can do for now, because I just keep working every day. 16 hours, 12 hours, 8 hours, depending on how I'm feeling. I got a lot to finish. Alright, I'm gonna stop here. I'm just rambling on. I'm not really showing much of an art because it's all under this. Right now it's just gluing and painting and gluing and painting and cutting, and it's gonna be something.